Well, greetings my peeps and peepettes, it's activity time. In today's game, we're going to play it pretty much straightforward. Basically, what I mean by that is, how badly am I going to screw up this actual toy review of these two figures that I'm about to showcase in just a moment? Answer, pretty badly. Anyway, here we go. As the camera focuses back in. Alright, so anyway, as you can tell, today's video review is Transformers Power of the Primes, about that Studio Series. Ha! Battleslash and Roadtrap, the Duocons, that we haven't had a nice reinterpretation of these figures ever since their Generation 1 glory days, which they were no more than just two drones that could merge together by a quick snap and become a giant robot that does absolutely nothing. It's all brickish. I don't think the arms moved at all. So unless they had any spring-launching projectiles that they came with, then I don't think they did a single thing except roll around on the ground. Anyway, this is a nice recreation of these figures in a more modern take with a very nice style that definitely represents their Generation 1 counterparts truly in vehicle form, but not in robot forms, because again, they didn't have any robot forms originally. But anyway, I gotta say the PMIA would have to be Battleslash in this set, just because his transformation is a bit awkward with the way things have to move around, and it just gets in the way of everything. And I've wasted enough time. 2 minutes into the video, I need to get to said video review, so let's do this. So we're gonna start off with Roadtrap's little packaging here, as partake of every single video review on this channel. So here's a good look at everything that it has to offer. A nice vehicle form of Roadtrap, Power of the Primes, Roadtrap's name, Decepticon logo. Up above that we got Legends class, I'm not going to forget that, Ages 18 Plus, Hasbro's logo, Transformers logo going up to the Misaligned Generations logo at the top right corner. On the whole entire top side of the packaging, minus the top right corner, we've got the very nice artwork of Roadtrap there. Right, so anyway, onto the back of the packaging, and here we got a brief summary of Roadtrap, which once again you can pause the view and read it if you so want. There's his robot mode, there's his vehicle form, 12 steps of transformation on the guy. Here's some brief information regarding what comes as the contents of this package. And then we got the Prime Master gimmick here, which I really don't care about, and I'm not going to showcase it anyway. But if you wanted to, you can slap the Prime Master on the top of his vehicle, and yay, he's joyriding, right. So anyway, that's basically that. So here's Battleslash now. So once again, we got the helicopter mode of Battleslash, Power of the Primes, Legends class, Battleslash, Decepticon logo, Ages 18 Plus, Hasbro's logo, Misaligned Generations logo is the top, you moron. This is the Transformers logo. So anyway, we've got, taking up most of the top, we got a nice image of Battleslash, who's charging into battle with his propeller blade, using it as a sword, which the figure cannot do. On to the back of the packaging, here's a brief summary of, should I say, the character. So pause it if you want to read it. So it's basically the same dealio here. We got 18 steps of transformation on this guy, and for good measures, but it may be actually a little bit more considering how finicky this figure can truly be when transforming him. So anyway, once again, indication of what comes in this package. There's the Prime Master here, taking a joyride on the back of his helicopter, and well, that's definitely not safe considering that the propeller blades do go all the way back there, right? So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for the packaging. Here are the two Duocons in their vehicle form, and again, it pretty much harkens back to the Generation 1 forms that they had. So you really can't mess up here, Hasbro, right? So these do look really good. Roadtrap looks extremely nice because he's got more of the paint job going on here, and for everything that's painted on the guy, it is a pretty good, very clean job. I really do like it. We do have very nicely painted grille, nicely painted headlights. The winch could have been painted as well, but it probably would have just made this look a little bland with so much silver on the front. So I do appreciate that they left that unpainted. That's nice. Okay, so we got some yellow here for details. We got some white up here and the Decepticon logo right there. On the back, we do have some silver paint, which is very nice. Although, guys, got a lot of paint work. Let's take a look at Battleslash here. Battleslash has a little bit to offer as well, with the blue for the cockpit window. Anyway, we do have some red here for these lights here. We've got some blue sticking out in the back, which is obviously the feet in his robot mode. We got some purple here for some nice highlighting. We got some black. And there's not much else to say, except for at the bottom, we got some metallic purple, which is going to be the chest of the figure. And then we do have another Decepticon logo right there that's done in black. And here's some more detail with the hands for his combined mode. Yes, these two combined, if you didn't know that. That's why they're called Duocons. But, yeah. Anyway, play feature in this mode is basically this. Hours of entertainment. Right. Anyway, let's do some side-by-side comparisons, because there's not much else to really address here. So, here's Wingspan from the previous video, and he doesn't want to stand up now. Let's bring in Cloud Raker, again, from the said previous video, and as you can see, not too bad for these Legend class figures being small. Right. So, that's pretty much going to do that. Let's go ahead and start the transformation to robot mode. Start off with Roadtrap here. Pop his doors, like so, and split them this way, so you get enough clearance to bring them out. Oh, yeah, right, sorry. There we go. I already started one problem with this. You're supposed to untab the wheels section here, like that. So that way, it can detach from the hand here where it connects, so you can bring them out and then put them back in, like so. So, rotate the forearms to the right place. And then this is going to split apart. So it makes it a lot easier to work in this area, but what you want to do is lift up on the windshield here, so that way you get enough clearance to bring it around like so. It's on a double hinge, and bring it straight forward. Again, lift up, pull up like so, bring that up. There we go. We got something going here. Next step is to come back here and flip this whole section up like so, rotate the head, and here we have this horrible mess, which we're about to correct. All you do is just lift up on the double hinge the chest piece like so, bring it up, tap it into place, do the same thing on this one, tap it into place. And again, just adjust everything to your liking, make sure everything's tapped in correctly. If anything is separated, now would be a good time to take care of that. And here's Roadtrap in his robot mode. We'll come back to him in just a moment. Let's go ahead and take care of Battleslash. And this is, again, the most finicky figure out of the Legends line so far in my collection. But what you want to do is untab this section here, like so. And then take the propeller tail from the back and split this whole thing apart. And then fold these back like so. We're getting somewhere. Go ahead and... yeah, I think we got enough clearance to actually take this whole section here, like that. Split this, supposed to split this apart like this. To get enough clearance. Now you understand why this is such a predicament here, but what you're supposed to do is once you split this apart, is you're supposed to take this whole section here, which is stuck. I don't know why it's stuck, but it is stuck. Take this and tab it and bring it down like so. Take this back section here, it's going to be his butt flap. Flip it up, bring this down, turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. And then we're pretty much going to have to work a little magic here to get this to line up with this section here, which is going to form his crotch piece like that. Rotate at the knees. So now his kneecaps are in the front. Then we can come about this part here. And on this pin joint here, we're going to rotate the whole shoulder around like this. And then we're going to bring this back down because there's a tab that's going to go into that slot right there. But we're not going to do anything about it just yet. Let me just correct a few things first. Alright, now back to work. So, same dealio on this side here. Rotate this way. Rotate it this way. Rotate that. Bring it back. Tab them in like so. And then come right here and... Actually, no. God dang it. So what we want to do is first bring this down so we can bring out his head. And make sure that's lined up with this back section here, because if it's not, then I'm going to have to untab all this and try again. But there we go. I got it. Lo and behold, here's Battleslash in his robot mode. So here are the two Duocons right next to each other with Roadtrap coming apart again. It wasn't giving me this much trouble last time, but yeah, they're okay for what they are. For being, again, a reinterpretation of the Generation 1 action figures that didn't have a robot mode, had no excuse for a robot mode. Now that they do, I can't really complain about this. Right, so for size comparisons in this video, here is Wingspan. And let's bring in Cloud Raker to complete the set. So, as you can see, when compared to the last two reviewed Legend figures, this is a pretty good scale with one another. It works just as good as it should. Right, that's going to be it for this part. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at full-on details of these figures here, which once again is pretty much what you expect coming from the vehicle form, with no paintwork whatsoever on the back of Roadtrap here. Everything's on the front, but again, it's a really nice touch. But here's a good look at the head sculpt. Pretty good. Very nicely painted in silver, with the visor being painted in red. It looks great. We got some additional paintwork here on the shoulders in red, which is nice. The wheels are on the front section of his shoulders, which is pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, he's a really nice looking figure, and he's loaded with articulation. He has a swivel head, he's got ball jointed shoulders, which does go around a full 360, as I'm showcasing here pretty slowly. But yeah, there's a little hindrance in the back, but it can still be done. You do get your inward and outward movement there. You have a ball jointed elbow section to make up with the fact that these figures, both of them, do not have a bicep swivel joint. Nothing else beyond that. No waist articulation due to transformation. You do have ball jointed legs with this much kicking forward, this much kicking back. You do get your full JCVD split and then some if you untab the figure. No thigh swivel joint, but the ball joint does give a little range of movement there, so it is limited. You do have single jointed knees, and you do have a hinge joint down here to allow some up and down movement as well, but no ankle rocker pivot. Now let's take a look at Battleslash real quickly. He's pretty much everything that I described from helicopter mode. Here's the metallic purple making up the chest with that very nice Decepticon logo done in black. His head sculpt is nicely painted as well. If it will focus in, we can get a good look at that nice silver work with the red for the eyes, which is very clean and looks really great on this guy. Additional paintwork, there's nothing to be found from what I've actually showcased in this helicopter mode, with most of it on the back, as you would come to expect. Anyway, he does have his propeller blade for his weapon of choice, but you cannot remove this without breaking it off. So anyway, articulation on the guy. He has a swivel head, kind of tight on my figure. He does have ball jointed shoulders, which are blocked. They cannot go all the way up unless you rotate around. Thank goodness it's a ball joint. You've got that option. We do have ball jointed elbows, like I said. Both figures, this makes up the case that they don't have a bicep swivel joint. Nothing else beyond that. No waist articulation due to transformation. Ball jointed legs, very tight, but you get this much kicking forward, that much kicking back. You do get your JCVD split. There's your silk quality, people. Again, no thigh swivel joint, but we do have a little movement there at the ball joint at the hip. You also have a ball joint knees, so you do get as much range as you would come to expect with a ball joint. So yeah, there you have that as well. And that's basically it for the articulation on this guy. Nothing at the feet, so you're not going to get any ankle rocker pivot anytime soon. Let's go ahead and talk about the icing on the cake, which is a little bit of a finicky mess to transform in. But anyway, it's the combination of these two into Battletrap. So to remove Battleslash real quickly, because we'll start from the bottom here. As I've already mentioned, this is the legs of the figure, but what you want to do is fold these back like we're going back into his Jeep form or whatever it is. Maybe a Humvee, I don't know. Someone will correct me down below, I'm sure of it. Tap that in, and I like to keep this up just like that. Do the same thing, keep that up, tap this in, there we go. Make sure this is all split now from the top section, and we're gonna bring it back down. It's actually going to tab in a few places, especially right here. Don't forget that, otherwise you'll wonder why your figure is falling over so much. Right, do the same thing, tab that in, make sure that's connected just right, like so. And here we go, Battleslash. Got a lot of work to do with this guy, but first of all, take this section and untab it so we can move these shoulder pieces back so we can fold this section down and flip his head back in, and then we're going to close this all back up like so. Alright, so now that we got that done, make sure we got enough clearance here because we're going to take this crotch section and split it apart, and we're going to bring this whole mess all the way back. Like that, like we're going back to his helicopter form. Rotate this around so you can see the obvious here. We're making the torso. Tab that in, and we're going to take his butt flap, and we're going to put that all the way back and tab it back into place like so. Right, so we're going to take the arms now, and we're going to bring them down on this hinge here. This one I'm pointing at right here. I'll try to keep this all on camera. I don't know why I keep moving it so much, but anyway, there's a tab that's supposed to tab into. Again, on this hinge, bring it down. I'll show it. There's the tab, slot right there. Tab it in. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Yay. So go ahead and open up this section here and flip out his head. And then we'll tap that back in. Now there are two tabs right here that you're not going to see since it's all dark, but they're broken on mine, so they're not able to lock his head in place, so he's always got this tendency to be looking down. Right. Anyway, your results will be different. Next thing to do is to rotate here, and then we're going to get enough clearance, hopefully, to take this section right here and fold it back like so. This is going to become his backpack, so make sure this is lined up just right with the propeller blade pretty much dead center to the back like so. Do the same thing here. Bring this in. Then we're going to rotate at the forearm like so. There's this giant tab that's going to go into the slot right here. So let's do that. So okay, now that that's all taken care of, let's take the two modes and combine them, which is easier said than done, but hey, once you get it done, there you go. It's done. It's done. Are we done? Yes, we're done. Take a good look at the guy because he's still a little bit of a finicky mess, but it is so much better than the Generation 1 figure. Now, I'm not going to bring anyone down who really likes the Generation 1 action figure. It was, for what it was at the time, a pretty good figure, regardless that it just was a brick. This here is a nice modern take on the guy with loads of articulation and a really spiffy paint job. I mean, there's not much of a difference here except for the head sculpt. The only thing that's being introduced new on this guy now in this mode, he's got a blue face with a nice silver visor, which is pretty good. Even the helmet piece is actually painted as well. It may even be oversprayed just a little bit because it's kind of sloppy looking, just a little bit. But regardless, still really nice. But everything else is, again, just one and the same with the other modes that I've showcased. The only new piece being the head. But for the full-on combination, from the front and the back, it looks alright. There's a little bit of some hollowness going on here, but again, it's the legs. Roadtrap makes that up, so it is what it is. Let's go to some articulation on this guy. He's got a swivel head. Yeah. And if his tabs were still there, he'd be able to look straight ahead. Regardless, does have ball jointed shoulders. Do get all the range you want out of them, as ball joints should. It does also have a tendency to untab as well, but that gives a little more clearance in articulation. See? So there we go. We do have ball jointed elbows to again make up the fact that there is no bicep swivel, so that works out. Nothing else beyond this point here, but we do have a waist swivel joint because he's using the head of Roadtrap. Here's the ball jointed legs that you would come to expect. They are very tight, and you do get this much kicking forward, you do get this much kicking back, you do get your JCVD split as well, and that looks kind of awkward, and well, I can make the jokes on it later. We do have a thigh swivel joint as well. We got single jointed knees that does get 90 degrees of bend. You got some articulation down here to allow a hinge joint for up and down movement at the feet, which also in this mode includes an ankle rocker pivot. So yeah, do get a lot more play out of this mode here, but there is a way to clean up this mess here. I've seen a lot of people modify this area here, transform it in certain styles to make it look much better. Now this is going to create a little bit of a backpack, but I'm going to show it off anyway, just because this is my review and I feel like going over 20 minutes. So anyway, I'm going to flip all this back as if we're going back to helicopter mode. I'm going to leave that like that, and we're going to tab in this section here like this. You get the idea of what's going on here. But anyway, flip this all back like so. Rotate the ball section, so we got this here. Once again, just like the other side, tab it in. If it will tab in, like so. And then we're going to bring them back to the middle point and get them to tab into one another, like so. Make sure everything's lined up just right. And again, it's not the best job that it could have been, but hey, regardless, at least now it's clean down below. And you got the propeller blade that could actually be used in this mode for like hovering above Autobots and drop kicking them or something. That's an option. So yeah, I mean, again, you got a little bit of a backpack now, but at least now the propeller blade serves a purpose in this mode, regardless of not being able to use it as a sword. We really wish you could add. It's unfortunate, but hey, again, it's your toy. Do what you want with it. Display it however you want. Put it in any mode you want. I don't care. It's up to you. It's your preference. So let's do some side-by-side comparisons to call this a video. Here are the two Legend class figures from before, Wingspan and Cloudraker, and as you can see, they're now dwarfed by this combined Gestalt, right? And for someone who's very curious, when compared to a modern take on a deluxe action figure nowadays, here's Studio Series Bumblebee compared to Battletrap. Get him to stand up just right so you can see Battletrap is much taller than Studio Series Bumblebee. But again, there's a difference between the scale of these two. This one's going for correctness when compared to his other group. And this guy can be as big as he wants because there's no size comparisons really, right? So anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video review. I've showcased everything off except for a few things which are still over here that I almost missed out on. So anyway, here are the trading cards for the two action figures here. My apologies for not showcasing these, but hey, better late than never. On to the back, and here's a little information regarding their Prime Masters and what happens when you link the two. So pause the viewer and read it if you so want on Battleslash. And here's Roadtrap. And there's a glare. Right, that's that. And here are the instructions of the two, which we really don't need to go through. But there, now I've shown off everything. This video is 100% complete. My apologies for dragging this out as long as possible, not just to get this video uploaded, but just because of how much that had to be talked about in this video. My apologies. Hopefully the next video review, which I got planned, won't take so long. There's just so much to address about this guy because he's a vehicle, he's two robots, and he's a combiner. So, can I recommend this action figure? Absolutely. These two Duocons are totally A-okay in my book. They've got their problems when transforming them, but regardless, they're everywhere. You can't miss them, and I do recommend you pick them up because the play value really is in this mode and with the transformation of the figures, regardless of how difficult it may be the very first time. But after a while, you will get better. Much better than me, that's for sure. So questions or comments, you know what to do. Hit it down below in the comment section of the video. If you like today's video review, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to give me a sub up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down, and don't forget to throw in the towel. Until then, this is the unprofessional toy reviewer Red as Power signing off saying thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you whenever you see me.